The point of this scenario is to show you how you can use the product from the top down for budgeting and forecasting, and how this can be used by sales managers and financial officers to both input and enact top-down budgets across the organization. Before you begin the scenario, you need to go into the data manager in the Excel planner and clear all the data. This makes sure that you're starting from a clean perspective every time you do the demo. To do this, we open the Excel planner, we click on the data manager, and this brings up our data manager. We just want to go to clear, and we're going to clear the entities, the scenario, and the time for when we're going to do this scenario. We clear 2010 because we're going to make a sales forecast in 2010. We clear the scenario sales forecast, and we also clear the entity worldwide because we're going to do a worldwide top-down budget in 2010 for the sales forecast. Click OK. Click yes, we want to run and clear that data, and now our data is cleared. Now to begin the demo, you want to go into the web UI, and you want to show them the canvas from the board of directors point of view. Go into the web UI, double click on the headquarter meeting. Now this is a board meeting dashboard that's going to show the client how easy it is to switch between the web UI and the Excel planner. This means that a board of directors can have a meeting somewhere across the globe and send information to a CFO in the head office, even if it's not even in the same country, time zone, or anything like that. So here they can enact a top-level sales forecast. We've also inputted here some data, that's marketing data on how the US auto sales are doing at the time. And we've also got a actual sales forecast that allows them to see quarters 1 through 4 of last year. This we think is going to be helpful in making any type of top-level targets for 2010. So in order to just demonstrate how easy it is to send data back, we're just going to make a couple of changes here. So in March, or let's change from 15,000 to 20,000. And let's also change July to 5,000. We click Save. This is going to send the data back to the server, and you'll know this is done when it stops doing the toolbar here. Excellent. So now we see that those changes have been saved, 5,000, 20,000. We click Refresh, and we know that's saved. Now, this is just a top-level down targeting that we've done. So this is the board meeting dashboard. Now to actually show the power of the Excel planner, we go into the Excel planner, and we start in the control panel. Now from this point of view, this is when a CFO is going to come into play and actually see the top-down allocation. All they have to do is open a workbook. They open the input schedule. We open top-level sales target input schedule. Always click refresh because we want to get that new data that's been sent from this by the CEOs. So now we can see the top-level consolidated worldwide regions, and we see the change that was made by the CEOs. We see 20,000 and 5,000. So in order to allocate this across the organization, we're going to want to go into the data manager, and we're going to want to run the rules. We're going to allocate top-level sales unit forecast. So we want to do this for sales forecast in 2010 to the entire organization. What this rule is, once you run it, click yes again, is this is actually going to allocate these top-level targets across the entire organization to multiple points, and based on last year's sales figures and targets, actually allocate them properly to everybody. We see that it's still pending, so remember there's quite a lot of data that has to be allocated here. And when that yellow button goes away, the submission has been finished. Once the submission is done pending, we click refresh. Now we want to actually see the spread on the sales manager's forecast. So we're going to open a new input schedule. So instead of working with the CFO now, we're going to work on the regional sales manager level. We open the product spread sales units report. Click yes. And we see here that we've actually got the spread across the worldwide regions. So right here we can see the product and we can see where we are. Now, if you're a regional sales manager, you don't need to see the spread for the worldwide sales region. You need to see the spread for your own organization, for your own area. So to do that, we just double click on entity and we can select the member now. Let's work on the US West, and let's actually be the San Francisco sales manager. Click OK. Click refresh. Yes. And now we're on the San Francisco Regional Sales Managers board. Now we can see here that we actually have 42,844 is our target for this area for the year. Now it's very important to remember that number because that's our target. So I suggest either writing it down or remembering it. We also see that we've got an automobile here that's being newly introduced. You can see it's newly introduced because it actually doesn't have a target. Now, if you're the San Francisco Regional Sales Manager, you may have an idea of how many of these smart hybrids you can sell per year. Let's say you believe that in San Francisco, you're going to be able to sell 3,000 smart hybrids a year. And also you know that the 10-ton and 5-ton trucks are actually going out of style. So instead of having a input of almost 1,500 here almost and 2,000, you think you're going to be able to sell half of that, which is fine because you believe it'll be made up by the smart hybrids. So we can actually change the numbers here to say 1,000 and 750. Now what this is going to do, once we enter those numbers and we click spread, this is going to, based on the targets you've set here, spread those numbers out across the organization. Once you've clicked those targets here, it's actually going to spread those numbers out across the San Francisco area. Now, remember that our sales target was only 42,844. So we're actually at this point in time thinking we're going to be above target, and we don't want to do that. So all we do here is two things. For every row that we think that we are definitely sure about how many automobiles we're going to sell, we want to lock those rows. So the new smart hybrid, we're quite sure that's how it's going to look. So we lock those cells. And let's say we're very sure about the trucks as well. Again, we lock those cells. Now, in order to meet our sales target, we just, again, in the box next to spread amount, this is our target, we write our old target in, which was 42,844. We click spread, and now, based on the 3 locks that we've created and the sales target that we have, it's actually spread the rest of the automobiles across the San Francisco organization. So now we have new targets, and we can give these targets to our individual sales managers around the San Francisco area. So when we are happy with that, we send the data to the server and click refresh. So with the spread in mind, the next thing you're going to want to show is the product sales and costs. Now this is from a controller point of view. So in order to show what the product sales and costs are for not just the San Francisco area, but for the worldwide organization, we go into the data manager and we run another rule. And this is called the calculate product sales and product costs rule. So we want to do this for our sales forecast, we want to do it for 2010, and we want to do it worldwide. Click OK. Yes, we want to run that business rule. And we're going to let that business rule run. And it's going to calculate the product sales and costs, not just for San Francisco, but for the entire worldwide consolidated regions. Once that's done submitting, we click refresh, click yes. And now we're going to be able to see the product sales and costs for the San Francisco region. The final area that we're going to show is the managerial dashboard. This is going to happen at the end of Q1 so that a managerial team is able to go back and check to see if they're on target for their sales forecast. Again, this is showing how you can use the planning Excel planner and the web UI together in one. So here we can actually see the sales comparing between Q4 2009 and Q1 2010. We can also see the actual forecast, the actual sales in Q4 as opposed to the actual and forecast sales in Q1 2010. We actually see here that we're above target for 2010. Remember we added that hybrid to the US West, so we can actually see how we're doing here on that hybrid. So we can drill down through the worldwide to the United States. We don't just want to see the United States now, we want to see the US East and the US West. So we uncheck US, we click US East to US West, click the green tab for OK, and now we're seeing how the sales and costs differ between the US East and US West, and that their sales are actually higher. So we can say that that San Francisco regional manager was correct in his assumption that he was able to sell more hybrids. And if we actually want to double check that, we can look at the sales versus cost dashboard here, and we can see that our hybrid sales have gone up. So this is just a standardized dashboard that you can make in the web UI that allows you to actually look and drill down further. So basically what you've shown here in this scenario is how easy it is for all levels of the organization to work from one platform. They're able to do top-down budgeting from the web, so they don't need Excel knowledge. and they're able to move down through the organization and use the same system for each level of the value chain to have an input. And then they can all end up back in with the managerial dashboard, monitoring sales, and if necessary, being able to flag things to lower end managers.